Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I mean, I love my guys, Kuda, Idris, Mark, Yay, Goofy, all unbelievable players, world-class players, and I couldn't be here without them.
What does it mean to the people of New York for you guys to be taking this trophy?
I think it's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, great first season of the 2K League. We have unbelievable New York fans, unbelievable, and just to be able to bring this trophy home is means a lot.
Yo, it's your boy at Metro Meta 2648. Check me out on Twitter, and I am with
Marcus Flowers, one Marcus Flowers on all social media platforms, aka Flow, aka call me what you want, just don't call me lazy.
Alright, y'all know who it is. Dust Off the Cartridge, Volume 1, Episode 1. Real excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, man. This is a video game podcast. We're going to be talking about the latest news, our opinions on video games, everything esports. We're going to be covering a little bit of everything.
Yeah, super exciting, but we got to start off on a somber note. The Jacksonville shooting, which happened, I believe, about a week ago.
Yeah, last Saturday.
Yeah, super sad. And really, we're talking about, what happened with it. So for those of you guys who didn't see what happened it was Madden. At a Madden tournament that was going on, sponsored by EA, one of the competitors who lost got upset, and he took out a gun, and he shot people. I think 11 people were hurt, and he killed 2 of the competitors and then killed himself. And the response to this has been it's been very moving. The video game community really just came together. EA immediately released multiple different statements about it and worked with the law enforcement in order to make it better. Many even companies that aren't part of EA started talking about it. Ubisoft put out a statement. I'm pretty sure Square Enix put out a statement. And everybody just sort of came together, and we talked about really the problems. EA themselves came out and talked about what they're going to do. They are donating $1 million to the victims, and they're setting up a foundation for people to donate to help these victims. So be on lookout for that. And they're going to have a community live stream, which is pretty nice. It's pretty.
Yeah, and
I like it because it's a very video game thing to do. We're going to come together and let's live stream. That's very good.
Yeah, and I'm going to read what EA put out. The events last weekend in Jacksonville will impact the gaming community forever. We can't begin to understand the pain so many are going through, nor do we pretend to have all the answers that will help us through the healing process. But as is so often the case, our community inspires us. The way you are coming together and the outpouring of support for all those affected by this tragedy is incredibly uplifting. We want to join you. So today we're establishing the Jacksonville Tribute. First, we're making a $1 million contribution to support the victims of last Sunday's events. We're also working to set up a fund where others can contribute. Alongside our donation, we will come back very soon with further details. Contributions will go to the victims, including the families of Taylor Robertson, Elijah Clayton, and all of those who were affected. We would also like to help by bringing the gaming communities together and united in play through the Jacksonville Tribute live stream next Thursday, September 6th. We've heard from so many of you that you would like to support the victims and show that this horrific event will not define us but only serve to make our community stronger. We're already working with many of you to help make this happen through the live stream. We'll share more details very soon. And the details are we've made a $1 million contribution to support the needs of the victims and their families. We'll be honored to have you contribute as well. If you would like to make a contribution, please visit the GoFundMe page here. We've partnered with GoFundMe and the National Compassion Fund, a 501c3 nonprofit, to distribute 100% of the collected funds directly to the victims and families of the Jacksonville incident. The National Compassion Fund has performed the same service for countless other communities affected by similar tragedies. We will continue to keep everyone informed with updates very soon on a Jacksonville tribute live stream set for Thursday, September 6th. Thank you to our entire community for supporting each other. You are continuing inspiration during these difficult times.
Very inspiring. Shout outs and kudos to EA. I know people like to give them trash, but they really came out. They canceled all 3 of the future events, and they're working with their sponsors to make a better venue. I think part of the problem a lot of people are having is, and this came up on Twitter is a lot of people came at EA like, why didn't you have security at your event? Why didn't you have security at your event? It comes to the fact that, one, nobody expected this to happen, and 2, EA doesn't exactly run those events. What they do is
it's through the it's
yeah, and that is very common with those sort of tournaments. But I think now EA and many other companies now, especially when they're throwing events in America, are going to be more on guard when it comes to these events.
And even I saw Evo's reaction to it, like, we need more security. But now some of the Jacksonville shooting victims are suing EA and the victim. And Jacob Mitch, a survivor of the deadly shooting at the Madden tournament, he's suing, and he traveled to Jacksonville to do what he loved, and he trusted the event host and organizer and believed that he was walking into a safe space. And EA responded. They said, at this time, we are fully focused on supporting the victims and all those affected by this tragic event. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on that. I don't think too much will come for it. Like, he may get something, but I don't think it will be a lot, just because EA is already getting money for him. So
yeah. And it looks bad, both not just on the gaming community, because now people are going to use this as an excuse to like diss the gaming community, but it looks bad on America now, because after the shooting came out, a lot of one of my YouTubers, Stylosa Big Voice, in the Overwatch community, he came out and he said, dead serious, that when he comes to America for events like BlizzCon and like E3, he feels unsafe and he doesn't feel as secure due to the amount of shootings and things that happen in this country, which I think is crazy because it makes our country sound and feel like a third world country. Like, you're gonna come here and you might get shot if you go to the movie theater, or if you go to a video game event, or if you go to school, or if you just walk down the street. And it just looks bad.
yeah. So moving on, we are from we're going from football and we're going into basketball.
Yup.
So
NBA 2K League Championship.
yep. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to look up for something.
Alright.
Okay.
Also, doing shout outs real quick. I want to do a shout out to the winners of the Dota 2 final that happened, I think, like last week. It was last week. I believe it was OG. Shout outs to OG. They won the international prize pool. Marcus, how big do you think this prize pool was?
How big was it?
25 mil.
Wow, that's crazy.
$532,177 was the prize pool. So shout outs to OG, living their life like it's golden. They vows to be brilliant. That's pretty cool. Shout outs to them.
All right, and now we are congratulating Knicks Gaming, who brought the first basketball championship back to New York since 1973. That's incredible, right? It's not real basketball, but it's a championship to say the least. Oh no, okay. So Knicks Gaming wins its first NBA 2K League championship, and they said, "We got heart. You can't name no team that got better heart than us." And if you've been watching the 2K League throughout the season, the Knicks only won 5 games in the regular season, and so The Knicks Gaming became the first NBA 2K champions in league history. Finals MVP Nate Call. They were facing the Heat Check Gaming, their scoring machine, Juan Hotshot Gonzalez, and to help his team secure the title. And when it comes to these championship games, to these tournament games, it's a best out of 3 games. And New York, the Heat won both games. The first game was a handed victory, and the second game they was a come from behind victory. It was very just high. It was high octane. Like I really enjoyed watching it, and also with the 2K League, they are announcing an expansion with the addition of 4 teams. So the teams are the Los Angeles Lakers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Atlanta Hawks, and the Brooklyn Nets, which brings the league's total to 21. And league managing director Brandon Donahue had this to say: welcoming these 4 world-class organizations and their passionate fan bases to the NBA 2K League is an exciting moment, not only for the league, but for the entire 2K community. From their innovative spirit to their global reach, we know each of these teams will be a tremendous addition, and we are thrilled that this growth offers the opportunity for new players, coaches, and support staff to join the league. So, yeah, it's going to be a very exciting season when it starts next year, I believe. And, still on basketball, just another game. NBA Live is trying to make a comeback. In NBA 2K19. Oh, that's the wrong. Sorry, guys, that's the wrong. But NBA Live 2K19 is coming back with a vengeance. They're trying to be more innovative and everything. They're trying to differentiate themselves from NBA 2K by having like the Pro-Am leagues with like such as the Drew League and the Dykeman League and other leagues like that. But here are some of the if my screen can load, give me one sec. What?
Also, I just noticed this. Ubisoft is at PAX West and they're having a live stream. So everybody be on your toes. New trailer for Beyond Good and Evil is probably coming soon. Real excited about that.
Yeah. Okay. So EA is introducing the one, which is be the one, build your squad, dominate the globe. The one. Oh, court battles, which is you can choose a different court. The league, which is you can go to the league. The streets, you can stay on the streets. And so basically, they're trying to give a different perspective on the NBA life, other than just being on 2K.
Should be interesting. Competition will probably pick it up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Competition is good. All right.
So from one to the other, we're going to the WWE 2K19 roster reveal.
Okay, and this is only part 1 of the roster reveal. If you haven't known by now, AJ Styles is on the cover, and also when WWE 2K19 drops, fans will have a $1 million challenge to beat AJ Styles in WWE 2K19. All right, now Morgan, I'm gonna suggest this challenge for you. Give me a timer, time me for 30 seconds. I'm gonna try to read every single every single person on the roster that they said is going to be on there. You got tell me when to go.
3. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, Titus O'Neil, Ember Moon, Bayley, Elias, Kevin Owens, Ronda Rousey, Rusev, Lana, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Velveteen Dream, Sasha Banks, Tyler Bate, Liv Morgan, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, Matt Hardy, Finn Balor, Apollo Crews, Danny Bryan, Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, Ruby Riott, Pete Dunne, Sarah Logan, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Shayna Baszler. I made it.
25.98.
Hey. Okay, and this roster reveal is very dope just because it's very NXT heavy, which is WWE's developmental show, and I really like Velveteen Dream being on there just because he's one of my personal favorite wrestlers, and he's very polarizing. And just seeing him put in such a high position at this early in his wrestling career is very dope.
Definitely, definitely. All right, from WWE, Overwatch League changes. So, as we talked about in the Super Flow Bros podcast last week, the Gladiators dropped Fisher, which turned out to be the omen because over the course of this week, so many changes happened. NYXL dropped the Wizard, one of the best coaches who led them to being one of the best New York franchises. Uh, Boston Uprising dropped 3 different players, including my boy Snow. RIP, pour one out for him. Also, I think LA Gladiators dropped 3 players, including Silk Thread, I think IE Remix. So a bunch of teams are dropping players now. It's kind of sad. Community's pretty upset about it. But shout out to my boy Mike Forte, one of the casters at Overwatch League, who reminded everybody that I think it's like September 7th or the 8th, it's open contract. And so then they're going to be picking up players. Super excited about that. There's some rumors going around that Runaways is finally going to be picked up. We're probably going to learn about the new teams coming out, so super excited about that. Keep your minds on Overwatch. And moving on from that, let's go to Battlefield World War II. So, Marcus, have you heard about what's going on with this?
I have not.
So, for those of you guys who don't know, Battlefield World War II is coming out this year. I believe it's not September. No, not November. It might be like November or October 20th. And basically, EA's been running into a big problem with their community where pre-orders are down because of, well, they put a woman in one of the trailers, and it seemed like they were going away from historical accuracy more into like having more fun and the crazy like stuff people do in Battlefield. And a lot of the community got upset about that. Angry Joe came out and defended them, especially about having women in World War II because they were fighting. But, you know, this is America. We got that alternative history going around. And so basically, they
Actually,
ran away.
sorry, I don't think women were fighting in World War II. Like were they like actually in the battlefield or were they like medics?
Some were. World War II was a mess, man. It was a mess. But moving on. Basically, Battlefield ran because those of you guys who didn't know, it was originally going to release in between the new Call of Duty.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. So the Soviet Union was the only major power to allow women in the front line. So if they weren't Soviet, they probably weren't on the front line. They're probably like medics, something like that. Sorry. All right, continue.
But they were going to release between Call of Duty and Red Dead Redemption 2. So one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world and one of the most anticipated games of this generation. So basically they ran and they moved their date to move it back for a better audience. And hopefully that will pick up. It will be interesting to see what happens with Battlefield World War II. There are some rumors going around that EA has some contingency plans in place if it doesn't do well. Might be some free content, so keep your eyes out on that. And from there on, we are going to talk about the hype machine, the amazingness, the biggest game and the only talk of the town to even come out this week, Cyberpunk 2077, done by the amazing CD Projekt Red. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, I did see the trailer. I liked it a lot. It looks amazing.
It looks so amazing. For those of you guys who don't know, they did a surprise live stream where they showed off 48 hours of pre-alpha gameplay.
Yeah, that was wild.
It could change. The entire gaming community was talking about it. People were doing reactions. I think I might have watched it maybe like 3 times. It was so amazing. It looks like a really big game. Like it looks like the biggest game that might even come out. Like they're talking about having like one of the biggest open world. Well, not the biggest, like one of the most complex open worlds. In-depth skill trees, fluid class system, amazing first-person mode. The graphics are borderline realistic. It just looks amazing. And coming out of any other studio, I would have been suspicious of it. But it's CD Projekt Red. They made The Witcher 3, and there was a news story where now the Cyberpunk 2077 is officially playable from start to finish, but they have like bugs and assets it needs to add in.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. And at the end of it, they released a note talking about why they didn't show the public this demo in the first place. And it talked about something that we're gonna talk about more when we hit Spiderman, but how the gaming community as a whole gets upset. There's this thing called downgrading where they might show what a game would look like in a trailer, and then you get it and it's not as good looking. And even The Witcher 3, one of the best looking games, was accused of this. And because the game is in pre-alpha and still in development, they don't want people to go out and say, oh, this isn't here, they lied to us. Because that does happen. There's people who do like screen grabs, and they'll be like, that bush was in the trailer, it's not in the game. That box wasn't right there. They changed the art. They're ripping us off. And it becomes very vicious. It becomes a very vicious cycle that they were just trying to deal with. So kudos to CD Projekt Red. Can't wait. Hopefully it comes out before 2077.
Yeah.
And then next up, Modern Warfare on Xbox One.
So this is just proof that Xbox One still are terrible because Modern Warfare is backwards compatible now. Like, come on, man. Why would you want to play an old game still?
I think that's one of the big draws of Xbox nowadays is their backwards compatible program, because a lot of people do like to go back and a lot of people do like to play those old games, and you can't play them anymore because new consoles don't play them unless there's a remaster. So that's why they do that. That's a big selling point of Xbox One is the backwards compatibility. It's basically the only thing that's keeping it alive right now. That and maybe games.
Just imagine getting excited for a game that came out 5 years ago, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, maybe not excited, but like you could look on the store and be like, "Hey, I remember this," and play it. And you have to remember, me and you, we didn't grow up playing games that much. Like, if you were into games back then, they say Modern Warfare is backwards compatible now. You're very excited.
I'm not. But moving from something old into something new, something exciting, something amazing. All right, you want to talk about Puddlegate?
Yes, let's talk about Puddlegate. Do you know what Puddlegate is?
I feel like I do, but I got my facts wrong. So try to get me straight.
What happened with Puddlegate was review copies for Spiderman are out now. So heads up, be careful, spoilers on the internet. And one of the people who had a review copy did a screen grab of Spider-Man standing next to a puddle in the trailer and in the game. And in the trailer, the puddle was bigger and there was like a little bit more lighting effects. And he claimed that Insomnia downgraded the game and that it changed. And Insomnia Game had to come out and say, no, it's just a small puddle. There's tons of other big puddles. And somebody else came out and said it was a downgrade because of power. And then Insomniac had to come out with another tweet that said, no, we have plenty of puddles for you guys to play in. And it started this really stupid conversation where people were complaining about the size of puddles in a game. And Insomniac's just saying, it's just lighting and puddles. And, you know, there was some screen gaps that showed, like, maybe, like, different lighting effects. And they're like, well, this isn't in the game. It doesn't look like this. And Insomniac came out and said, no, it's just a different time of day.
Yeah.
It's just a sun effect. And it goes down to going back to CD Projekt Red when they didn't want to show people what the game was looking like, what Cyberpunk looks like. Gamers, it's very hard for them to look at different things and to be like, okay, this is still in development. And they're very close. They're very on edge and just on accusation mode all the time.
Yeah, I think this is a bit overblown. It's very stupid. I think they're overreacting. I feel like the game's gonna be amazing, so just wait for it.
Amazing. speaking of it looking amazing, did you see the trailer for the new photo mode?
I did. I'm excited about that.
It might be one of the best photo modes I've seen. And PS4 puts a photo mode in every game they have, but that one was amazing. You can make a comic, you can have all these different stickers and stuff. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
All right, going on to our last news item of the day, Destiny 2 on PS4 and the Foresaken expansion. Now, Marcus, what do you know about Destiny 2?
I don't know anything about Destiny. I just from talking to like a few of my friends and colleagues, it's a very addictive game, and feel like it's something I should stay away from.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Destiny is a MMO-like created by Bungie Entertainment, who created the Halo franchise. And to me, Destiny never lived up to what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like wizards in space, but it's never exactly that. And Destiny 2 came out to originally high praise, but over time people just realized it's just more of what Destiny 1 already was. And its player count has been going down like over and over and over. And so now they have Destiny 2 coming out. They have Destiny 2 Forsaken expansion, a big expansion coming out pretty soon. And so, as a way of getting people excited for it, now it is free on PS4 if you have a PSN account. So I picked it up. I haven't played it yet. It's still downloading, but it's very interesting. It's a very interesting marketing way of doing things. Just giving them the game for free and then charging for more expansions. It's a very MMO way of doing things.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I may have to try it out.
Yeah. Final thing, boss battle. Now this is going to be a big discussion between us. So we're going to talk about the view and community of sports games basically in the world and how it affects them.
So I think just the sports gaming community as a whole is just growing, especially with things like the 2K League, FIFA, even the Madden League. They're really trying to be because sports games, like you've always told me, they're basically always the same game with the updated roster. But I feel now that developers are trying to stay ahead of the curve and add extra to make sure that their games are top notch and give consumers content that makes them come back year after year.
It's very interesting, especially because the sports game community is a community that's not growing in the traditional video game community, just because of that. Just because of how it is viewed by the gaming community. So it's interesting and fun to see how they're growing it throughout it. But it is also notorious for because it doesn't have that traditional gaming community watchful eye over it. It is very notorious for communities to be exploited. I think speaking of 2K and their finances, like the 2K microtransactions when the game came out were seriously hated on by the reviewers to the detriment of the game. And even I think it was like this week, 2K had to take the microtransactions out of its game, and it was like Belgium or the Netherlands, because it was considered gaming in those countries, along with a lot of other companies. Blizzard and Overwatch had to do the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about making this game both accessible to the people who like it and to the more traditional gamers, getting them into the loop and what they can do for that. Because nowadays, when EA starts talking about like Madden or starts talking about like 2K, people just they don't care anymore. Like if you watch the like E3 live stream, that entire section, all people write is boring and move on. So very excited to see how they're moving and changing this.
Yeah, I'll be excited for the future of sports gaming as well.
All right. And that is episode 1 of Dust Off the Cartridge, volume 1. Excited to see how this has grown. Give us some advice, anything you want to change, stuff like that. Anything you want to plug?
So, Super Flow Bro, Volume 1, Episode 6 comes out Tuesday. Fantastic Flow, Volume 1, Episode 2, Iron Fist comes out on Wednesday. The Metro Meta Podcast comes out on Thursday. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks you. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, commenting on YouTube. Make sure we're available basically everywhere you get your podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, Podcast Listen, Stitcher as well.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Peace.